Our next guest.
Dr. Cindy Trimm, and she's the author of Hello Tomorrow and the best-selling author of Commanding Your Morning.
Amen.
She's right here with us right now, and God is doing a great work.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Dr. Trimm, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I'm very excited to be here today with you, doing life with you on Atlanta Live.
Yes, yes.
There's so many works that are dead, but thank God we still have Atlanta Live.
Right.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We are excited about that. And we are excited about you being here. We're going to jump right in. We're talking about Hello Tomorrow.
Yes.
What? How? Why Hello Tomorrow?
Well, I wrote a book, Commanding Your Morning, and it's published with Strain Communication, Strain Media. And in writing that book, I wanted to do a sequel, and I prayed and asked God, how can I engage individuals in their own life, finding out what you were saying to them specifically, and then them being able to action what God is giving. And how do you do that? How do I say it? So I sat on the sequel for about a good 8 years, 9 years, and then God gave me the words Hello Tomorrow, and it was based on the prophecy out of 2 Kings chapter 7, where you have Elijah actually prophesying into the womb of a nation. And he said, tomorrow about this time.
Yes.
And that nation was able to say hello tomorrow. And things turned around. It was an overnight experience. And we recognize that there are people that go through things day after day after day. But there comes a moment in our lives where we recognize that things could be different. And that's when we start communicating with God and hearing what God is speaking to us, about us, for the wonderful things that he has planned for us in our future.
Yes.
So we can say goodbye to yesterday and hello tomorrow,
Amen.
And our yesterday does not have to look like anything that it did in our yesterday. So, we don't have to repeat yesterday. We can have a different tomorrow.
Amen. Amen. That's good to know. With depression and suicide being so prevalent right now, there needs to be a voice to encourage them to know you can face tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just say hello to your tomorrow and not be entrapped by your emotions because of things from your past.
Habakkuk had the same experience. If you read the book of Habakkuk, he begins to complain to God about the state of the world that he lived in, the debauchery, the crime, and it really hurt him. So he began to form his prayers based on what was. And then in chapter number 2, he said, I'll stand on my watch to see what God would say. And he answered me and said, write the vision, make it plain. And so once you understand that God has a bright future for you, and you allow God to download that into your life as a vision, you're able to bridge today with a brighter tomorrow just by allowing God to give you the ability to write a vision for your life. And people are blinded. I think we're suffering from a generation of blindness. And it's pandemic. People are blinded by fear. They're blinded by disappointment. They're blinded by discouragement. They're blinded by abuse. They're blinded by addiction. And there's so many people that cannot see how they're going to get out of a situation, how they're going to make it out of a situation. And this was, again, Habakkuk. That was his condition. So God spoke to him, and he said, if you could just write the vision, make it plain, when you read it, you'll be able to run. To run means to make something happen a lot faster. This is what happened with Jabez. And the prayer of Jabez is an important prayer. Jabez means one who causes pain. Can you imagine that everywhere he went, people thought that he was the catalyst of the pain and the problem? But when he prayed to God, God blessed him. And he prays this simple prayer. He says, "Oh, that thou would enlarge my territory. Give me the ability to think beyond where I am." And sometimes we're in communities where we feel that we have restrictions. And then there are self-imposed restrictions and self-imposed limitations. And I've discovered the only limitations that we have in life are the limitations in our mind. And once we're delivered from that, once we remove those limitations, once we're able to say, with God, all things are possible, all things do become possible. And God does not play games with our lives. He takes Abraham and he says to Abraham, "Abraham, look from where you are." Not look at where you are. Look from where you are. Look beyond where you are, northward, southward, eastward, westward. And as far as you can see, that's what I'll give to you. So I ask people, how far can you see? There are some people that can only see to the end of the day. Some people can only see to the end of the week. But I was reading that God gave Nebuchadnezzar, he was a heathen. He wasn't even a Jew. He wasn't even a man of God, but gave him the ability to see superpowers, and all the way down to the United States of America. He gave him the kingdom of gold, the kingdom of silver, the kingdom of brass. And if you look at the unfolding of the history of humanity, you would see the kingdom of gold was Babylon, replaced by the Medo-Persians, replaced by the Greeks, replaced by the Italians / Rome, replaced by Great Britain, right down to the toes that were made of clay, which is the United States of America. And God gave a man the ability to see way off generations later. And if God could do that with someone that did not even know him, did not even claim him as his God, what can God do for us in this generation if we would only just learn the discipline of receiving a vision, not only for our lives, our community, our family. And when you think about it, all of what we see in this world was created because someone saw us living better, doing better. From the iPhone to television to the cars that we drive in, someone said we can do better. And this is how I see it. So how you see your life unfolding is how it unfolds. If you cannot see it, then it does not come. And so we need God to be able to open up our spiritual eyes that we are able to see. The Bible said that he's going to give old man dreams, young man vision. And when you look at Ruth's life and Naomi's life, an old man died. So that means there was no dreamers. The young man died. Ruth's husband died. So that means here are two women with no dreams, no vision. And then God restored vision back by causing Boaz to come into the equation. And so our generation needs Christian, moral, ethical leaders who have a vision, not just for their personal life, but a vision for us to do better. And what better place to look than the church?
Yes.
We have a God that has already prepared the marriage supper of the Lamb long before we get there, long before the Magi needed a star. God prepared our star for them thousands of years before they needed. So we don't have a resource problem. We have a recognition problem. And if we allow God to give us a vision for our lives, and this is what Hello Tomorrow is all about. It's the transformational power of vision. Your tomorrow does not have to look like your yesterdays when you understand that God has a vision for you, for your family, and for humanity. We are the visionaries.
You know, it's so amazing what you were saying. We think you're being taught different things, and what you were saying, really, there are two things that stuck with me. When we say that we're blind, it seemed like when you said to write the vision to make it plain, by us reading that vision, it takes the veil off of our eyes, so we're not blind anymore. And then I thought about what my pastor had told us, that your past doesn't define, it prepares. So you have to make sure that you know what happened in your past. Move forward, and then do what you're called to do. With the book, I mean, you've written so many books. You speak to conferences, to millions of people that you've spoken to. What's the one thing in this season that you want God to do?
Well, I want God to continue to anoint the church and bless the church so that we can be a blessing to the communities that we're living in. We are the solutions. So I would like to see a renewal of our spiritual as well as our social contract with the world and its communities. God said, go into all the world and preach the gospel. So we have to understand what the world is. It's different from the earth. So the earth is the Lord, the fullness thereof, the world, and they that dwell therein. So there's a difference between the world and the earth. And if we see the world as the machinery that controls the activities of the earth, so all of the activities of the earth are controlled by the world. It's a machine. So once we understand this, that God is sending us in as mechanics because the machine is broken.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
Families are broken, government is broken, all the 5 institutions that can really control this machinery, 4 out of the 5 are broken. Government is broken, family is broken, marriage is broken, the educational system is broken. There's only one institution that's not broken, that's the church. That is because it's not man-made.
Yes.
It is God-made.
Yes.
And whatever God creates, he sustains.
Come on.
Yes.
So the church will eternally be sustained. And as long as we understand that God is sending us into the world, not to become a part of the world, but to bring solutions. We are light. We are salt. Light brings revelation. Light doesn't create. It exposes something that is already created. So, you know, people are looking for solutions. Why can't we go in as these solutions? To bring the wisdom, to bring the insight, and to bring the vision. So there are many believers that are not called to usher and sing. They're not called to be deacons. They're actually called into industries to provide the moral, ethical, transformational leadership that this world needs. And when, you know, you hire a Christian, I believe that you get bang for buck.
Yeah.
You not only get the professional, but you get the moral, ethical leader as well. Because we are salt. Salt is a preservative. So we're able to preserve communities, preserve families, preserve industries because of the Christian standard that we bring to the table. And for me, Christianity, let me define that. Once involved, Christianity is my life strategy. Everything in life is attached to a strategy. If you want an outcome, you have to have a strategy. So we talk about life skills, but there's also life strategies. But you have financial strategies, spiritual strategies, relationship strategies. We were just talking about parental strategies. It is attached to a specific outcome, a specific goal, a specific manifestation. You cannot go through life as a Christian without a vision for your life and then a vision for your ministry. And so there are 12 dimensions or 12 categories that you write a vision in. And chapter number 8 talks about this, the categories. And I can tell you, I'm on my second 20-year vision. So I wrote a 20-year vision 23 years ago.
Wow.
And there was only one thing I didn't accomplish. So I carried that one over. So I'm into my 3rd year of my 20-year. And I can tell you how powerful it is. When I first started writing my vision, there was no one really around telling you specifically, how do you write your vision? So people are having vision parties. We've heard of vision parties. We have vision boards. But very few people say, okay, here are the 12 areas that you need to write your vision is. Here is what a vision is. A vision is a divine announcement of coming attractions. So God is announcing to you what is about to happen. So you want to be able to prepare yourself for it. He said, my thoughts of you are good and not of evil. So a lot of people are trying to eliminate rather than create. So you want to be able to create what you want. Let there be light. God didn't want any more darkness. He didn't say, well, darkness go. What he said, let there be light. He is the God that calleth things that be not as though they were. And that's what a vision gives you the ability to construct, to engineer your prayers so that it flows along the lines of God's original original plan and purpose for your life. You don't have to pray amiss when it comes to your life. God can reveal to you what he had planned for you years down the line. And like I said, if God could reveal it to Nebuchadnezzar, who did not know him, who did not claim him as God, he can also reveal it to us. We are his sons. We are his daughters. And we don't have to live in darkness. We don't have to walk around like blind leading the blind. We can have open eye experiences. And the world is crying out for solutions. And this is one of the greatest moments for the lights of the church to begin to shine. I say turn the light on and pour the salt out.
Amen.
Absolutely. Turn the light on. And that, I so agree with praying to be a solution. God, show me how to be a solution to someone's situation. We were talking earlier, and I said it's sad that so many people are walking around wounded, hurt, and holding it. Because they're like, I don't think I can trust anybody with what's going on with me. Can I go to them confidently and they not go share it, but that they'll give me a strategy on how I can come out of it. You know, so tonight, and you've said a mouthful, but really quickly, encourage somebody that just doesn't know how to say hello to tomorrow.
I believe that all of us have a point in our lives, I call it that defining moment, where we are able to say, I need something different, I want something different. And it just takes courage, it takes faith in God. I mean, faith is the game changer. Not faith in your ability, but faith in God's ability and his not only ability, but faith in the fact that God put you here for a purpose. We're all purpose driven. And so it is for you, your family. There's a reason why you are here. I want to encourage you. Don't give up. There's a way that you could see your way through this. Problems don't come to define you. They come to refine you. And when you reach within, you are liberated. But when you reach without, you are bound. The Bible says, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Let God do the work through you. Have courage. Have faith. Believe in a brighter tomorrow. And not only believe it, begin to decree it into the womb of your tomorrow. When tomorrow comes, it is going to be the today you thought about yesterday. And so each one of us have an opportunity not only to make a change, and I believe that the greatest gift that you could give yourself is the gift of change, and inviting God into your life and then embracing everything that he wants to do with you, for you, and to you.
Amen.
Amen.
Dr. Cindy Trimm, we want to thank you for blessing us. Thank you for joining us and sharing about your new book, Hello Tomorrow. And you can find out more about Dr. Trimm
by going to CindyTrimmMinistries.org. CindyTrimmMinistries.org.